help you out.
And we are underway. Sanctuary, 10 arrows, Link's house, heart container. Map check. 2 crystals and a pendant at Eastern. I could not tell. Yeah, it's a not important pendant. So green pendant is in Dark World, it looks like.
I mean, you say now, not an important pendant, but I mean, you need that for pedestal, obviously.
Of course, pedestal is an option. I will not concede. I will always concede that. But it's not a pedestal seed until we have the means to get pedestal. And right now, that is not on the table. And Uncle's somewhat rich. Oh, wow, that Buzz Blob gave you 4 bombs. And the Hoarder Crab's giving you some as well. Good resources to start off Invictus and Blaine there. And a sword for Blaine as well at the mushroom spot. Things are already looking up. And wow, that was only like a few pixels on Lumberjack Cave. I did not see that item.
Yeah, I couldn't quite catch it either, but it looks like PRD Wong, they're going to be buying bombs from the shop outside of near Sahasra's hut. Checking out the Lake Hylia Island item, which is going to be 20 rupees, so we won't need to get the flippers and mirror for that specifically. And yeah, they're going to continue over to Sahasra's hut.
Meanwhile, we're going to see Blaine coming down here to the dam. Whew. Alright, we're going to maybe a second look here at the Lumberjack item. It's just a 5 rupee.
Yeah, meanwhile, Blaine found the first glove upgrade in the dam.
And there's the book. Over at Saraswato's house, so we're just a fire source away from potentially just being able to clear desert right now. And maybe boots, I will concede that as well.
Yeah, really interesting layout of items so far, and also really like large points of route divergence here in the early going, which I'm sure our trackers for Nightlink, Forest Zero, and Carol are able to handle.
Oh boy, we have another glove and a potion bottle at the Moon Pearl. All right, we have Dark World access. Well, combined between our runners. But yeah, Moon Pearl, Power Glove, and a bottle all in the basement of Blind's house.
Yeah, so Wayne going South Shore first, because they actually did this South Shore first before Kakariko route, which you usually only saw in Standard, they'll be able to get Dark World access when they're in Kakariko Village and just route in early Dark World checks with the Kakariko, which is just really good timing for them.
It really is. Meanwhile, we're seeing PRD in Eastern Palace. You're gonna dig through some of the items there. And was that a shovel I just saw on Invictus's end? I think it was. I glanced away for a brief moment. That's a hammer, though. That is absolutely the hammer Invictus just bought from the merchant.
Okay, so Invictus as well has Dark World access in Kakariko. This is a... Alright, Seed. This is... Okay.
And the mirror as well! What have we stumbled onto tonight? We're not even 5 minutes in, this seat is already opened up completely. Well, almost. We don't have access to East F Mountain. Well, actually, no, we do, but we don't have access to stuff like Hookshot Cave and the like. We're still missing a Hookshot for that.
Yeah, we don't have logical access to Death Mountain either, though, I don't know, maybe we're gonna find the flute in the tavern or something.
And if someone is asking, how is this played? This is a qualifier race. These guys are competing for a spot in the group stages of the tournament, and these are only not just 4 runners. We have a total of 90 plus runners in this race, all looking to get into the bracket to the group stage of the tournament.
Yeah, we have 96 spots open for entry in our group stages. So whoever the top 96 performers in these qualifiers are, we'll take a moment for tournament format here, I guess. Yeah, so there are 15 total races. Each runner has to participate in at least 5, and there's some math involved, and it's very long. I think it's exclamation point fall in the chat for a fuller explanation.
Yeah, and we just had Wayne talk to the Tarasula, but I missed what was said. I looked away for a brief moment again, because again, it's really hard to keep track of 4 feeds at once. And already we see Invictus and Aaron both at Dark World. And thank you, Chad. It looks like Skull Woods was our green pendant.
Yep, looked like it was green on Aaron Dobie's screen.
And a nice poultry reward there for Blaine. 20 rupees from that. Oh, and there is a Quake medallion. For Aaron Dobie. Things are getting interesting here. We're getting some pieces quite early.
Yeah, that quick medallion, it might be useful later. It might just be a medallion we have to kind of more efficiently kill pen gauges if we're stuck without a sword upgrade. There's really no telling, but more than likely we'll be seeing Quake used.
Yeah, I forgot that Pink Hitters actually died to Quake that easily. Some very nice movement here as well from Invictus, dodging these as axe. I think one touch from them is death for him right now.
Yeah, really bold move for Invictus to go for Thieves Town so early. 5 hard green mail Thieves Town is no one's idea of a picnic, but yeah, they are more than equal to the task, ready to collect that crystal. If they can nail this traversal through this dungeon like less than 15 minutes in.
And it seems we've missed a map check here, but it looks like Ice and Pod are our 5-6, and TR is our final pendant. So we don't need to find that ice rod, thankfully, unless Trinix himself has an item. Ooh, nice find there for Blaine as well. Half magic in escape. Not too useful right now, but does have also the magic powder. I missed when he picked that up. Oh boy, Agina! Did you see that there, Walsh?
I did. What are those?
Joking aside, those are the boots we have found. And wow, that's gonna help Wong out so much checking this overworld. And really, that takes out any... all it removes from Desert is the boots lock requirement, if there is one. Meanwhile, digging game over at Aaron Dobie. Kind of a long digging game, though. And not really worth it either. Wow, interesting tech there from Wong, just bonking off the pillars there. And this dungeon is boots locked, so you do need to visit Agina.
Oh, and the hint tile not really giving PRD Wong anything, though.
Yep. Zelda 1 fans would recognize that message, actually, as well. That is one of the messages that appear in that game. And this is interesting. Long does not yet have the sword. They're from the mushroom spot.
Yeah, it is. Having to use bombs to kill those Popo, and yeah, seeing him weaponless in desert while everyone else is kind of like loaded up with like either the sword or the sword and the hammer. This is just a really interesting position for Wong, though I'd expect they're probably going to be going to Kakariko sooner than later.
I mean, those boots will give him a small advantage going forward. And there's our second item in desert, so... Moles only have the compass. Meanwhile, we're having a very, very hard fight here in blind. Oh, boy! Drinking the green potion there. One more hit, I think, and that should be GG for Invictus. Yep, there it is. Oh, we just missed a Hype Cave check. Wow.
Yeah, I managed to catch silver arrows in Hype Cave for Dobie, but not much else of significance it looked like.
Anyway, first crystal on the board for Invictus. And Blind had the Master Sword. So really good find there.
Yeah, so with the book and the mirror, all the runners are going to be able to check the Bombos tablet if they choose to go in that direction, but only Invictus with that Master Sword off of Blind is going to be able to actually get that item.
That's right. However, as we see Ether there in the Bonk Rocks, even if Invictus did not have the sword, he could still read the tablet and see what was there.
Right, yeah. But they're going to be the only one that's able to actually get that item, though. I would expect Wayne and probably Wong to also make the dip into Thieves Town.
Wow, it's just very interesting how all these runners go. So let's take a look at what we've got here and figure out what the sea wants us to do. You know what I think?
Go ahead.
I think, given that we also have the flippers on Invictus, I think they want us to go. I think they want us to go to Pod, actually. We know ice is also an option, but we don't have any way of getting into ice. And, well, Pet's dead, folks. We just had it checked by Wong. Just a heart container.
Yeah, right now the runners have a lot of options, but none of them are particularly attractive. You can get into Pod, but you can't full clear it without bow and logically without the lamp. You can enter Swamp Palace, everyone's favorite, but without the hookshot, you can't really... It's going to be an even slower dungeon than usual. It's hard to tell where the seed is actually pointing you right now.
I mean, there is a third option of just go up to Zora's domain. You can't buy anything off of King Zora, but you can at least look around at the other items there.
Actually, of the runners, Invictus is already mostly there to the Zora money, though. Yeah, it looks like Aaron Dobie is going to be making a fake flipper play, probably going to be checking that Zora's domain that you just said.
I mean, it makes sense. Meanwhile, Wong is about to get his Darkhold access in spades. Shovel turned in. Only 20 rupees, so that one wasn't worth it. Although, given the fact you can pick up random power-ups, it could be useful if you need to get some more magic or something. But it's very limited in its use, I'll admit that.
Yeah, definitely not the item anyone wants from Shovel, but probably the most frequent item that you get from Shovel.
And there we go. Wong, the last store feature 4 to have full Dark World access. And here we're going to see a much better look at our hype cave as Invictus is about to enter it. I'll actually pay attention this time. Oh, did I also have another bottle? But not much else to note.
Then, as always seems to be the case, you get a Pendant Turtle Rock, and you find Ice Rod before the 20-minute mark. Or that was the Fire Rod, according to the tracker. So Fire Rod's actually useful.
Looks like actually it was Ice Rod. And oh boy! Graveyard Ledge paying out big time. The Hookshot has been found by Blaine.
Okay, that's a pretty significant find for Blaine because a lot of runners will like to put off that Graveyard Ledge check. So finding the Hookshot there this early, that really bodes well for them for the rest of the seed.
One runner that'll probably not put it off though is Wong actually, because he can use the mirror to check that, Bonk Rocks, and King's Tomb all in one fell swoop.
And that is true. A little bit more value for Wong going to that location. Yeah, we'll just have to see how this all shakes out here.
Indeed. And we don't have the means to get up to Death Mountain just yet. Unless we, of course, go through the Dark Rooms, but that's not in logic. Hera, though, has been in the play if we made that call, though. Given the fact we have the mirror. And that's some good information we just got there. One of the hints right off what was on the Firelocks item, Mr. Meyer, and one of those items is the big key.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be useful because, like, if you get the fortune of being able to go to Misery Mire in Go mode, you can just check those 2 chests and just be on your way.
And we have found the... Oh, apparently on the old man. That's huge for Aaron. If we find a fire source, that's Palace of Darkness. That's a lot of locations we can check. Also gonna get the hint here as well. And he knows where the flippers are now. He knows that Thieves Town has the flips.
Oh, nice Spectacle Rock Cave bomb jump from Aaron.
Yeah, that is not an easy one to do. That is pretty much a pixel perfect jump. There is a little bit of leeway, but setting it up is pretty exact.
Yeah, and much respect for getting that set up with the tile sprite. That's low-key amazing.
So, I think our play is going into Swamp now. Based on what we know.
Yeah,
it's either follow the hookshot for swamp clear, or follow the bow and try to get as much as you can out of Palace of Darkness.
Aaron just found out that the fire rod's in the Pyramid Fairy.
Oh boy, so Bombos is required this seed. It doesn't even matter what our medallion dungeons are. We need Bombos because one of our 5-6 crystals is Ice Palace. And you get free green potions there, and we just saw the Peg Cave. Wong not taking it. So that changes things considerably. We now know we need Bombos to enter ice. There's no way around it. And
Yeah,
that is the one medallion we don't know where it is.
Yeah, that always seems to be the case. But yeah, a lot of times when you get Bombos before Fire Rod, you're always thinking in the back of your mind, does this mean Fire Rod's in Ice Palace? But now Aaron just has the concrete information that, yep, it's absolutely going to be in Ice Palace.
Aaron has found some really great hints thus far. And you know what the other thing is? That hint is currently not supposed to be available to these runners by the logic. We don't have the flute, and we don't have the lamp to get up to Death Mountain normally.
And Invictus took a second to stare at their map. Probably like, I've been in this position before where they're just paralyzed by choice and they're just trying to figure out, okay, where do I want to go? What's the safest play I can make? And they've kind of decided to just clear out some of the Sphere 1 locations and go back to escape here.
Meanwhile, Aaron is making his way across to the east side of Death Mountain here. Darrock's getting in the way. So the first person to find Bombos unknowingly has a huge advantage here. Unless it's Aaron. This has just got really interesting though, because we have a logical full clear of ice, so we could have a fire source there. Or not ice, a swamp. I'm getting my dungeons mixed up again.
Yeah, I would say that the safest play right now would be Swamp, but Aaron Doby, without the hookshot, without having made their way to the Graveyard Ledge just yet, may be reticent to make that play. But if they find Bombos on Death Mountain, then they're just going to say, heck the logic, and they're just going to go straight to the Pyramid Fairy.
That is true. And here we go with checking what we call Paradox Cave. Aptly named because the entrances in this lower cave, the lower section of this cave, makes no sense. So we're just getting little by little more information here. Really, Aaron is the one blazing a trail here for the time being. He's in new territory. So there is a worst case scenario to this, I just realized.
Do tell.
And I think Aaron is going to check just to make sure. And we just had another hint that our unique item is I I didn't catch the last part of that, but yeah. Unique item. That relates to an item that's only one available in the pool. Could be the single arrow, could be the 100 stash of rubies, and that is a good sight to see for Aaron. We have Bombos as the medallion requirement for Turtle Rock, which means the Fire Rod cannot be, or the Bombos stab cannot be in there, which means there's no point to go in there at all this seed. Unless, for some weird reason, the lamp is in there.
And even then, Lamp's uses are kind of limited in the seed because we know that Lamp isn't going to be... Well, we know that a fire source isn't blocking Fire Rod. Lamp is logically blocking Fire Rod, but we're probably okay with that.
And yeah, Chad is pointing out something here. The flute could be in Turtle Rock. That is absolutely right. And this is a new check here on Blaine's end. We're going to see what Magic Bat has for us. Nothing good. So given Aaron's position, he knows the flippers are in Thieves Town, so he's gonna go get them. We'll see if Aaron decides to check the north side for the item here. However, another play that's open to Aaron and would be a more convenient routing would be to check the full Smith loop and end with Bombo's tablet check. But that one will lead him away from the Hookshot, which is at the Graveyard Ledge.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see what direction he takes. But I just want to talk about PRD Wong for a second, because they have an advantage that no other runner has, is that they found the boots in Nagina's cave, and given everything that the seed has given these other players, I'm not sure when they're going to be able to route in Nagina's cave, like when that becomes an attractive option for them.
Well, I can answer that somewhat simply with when they go to Desert, because they'll know Desert it's boots locked. They're like, all right, fine, we'll just go and check Agino over here. Find the boots, and like, okay, fine, and then go back into Desert.
Yeah, that makes sense. You do kind of want to find out that whether or not Desert is boots locked as soon as you can. So yeah, it would make sense.
And PRD is going to check the King's Tomb along with the Graveyard Ledge, so we'll be getting the Hookshot as well as a mail upgrade, so that's going to be nice to have. And I couldn't tell if it was 20 rubies or a tempered sword there for Blaine.
I think that was a tempered sword. I think that weird dude in the desert was actually a former hero of legend, so thanks, guy.
Well, we'll see when, yeah, tempered sword. So even if you didn't have a sword going to blind, as Wonka now has the Hookshot, you doing the Smith loop would have given you the means to check the Bombless tablet, which unfortunately was nothing. And looks like Blaine's gonna go into swamp here. Gonna first check the message.
Yeah, so Blaine actually skipping out on Swamp Palace for now, while PRD Wong is making the same sequence break up to Death Mountain that Aaron Doby just did a little while back.
Well, Blaine has not checked the Hype Cave here, and we'll probably save it after he full clears Swamp. So he's just getting this check out of the way first. I think he'll just double back, because he did have the mirror equipped at one point. No, he's leaving Swamp alone. Interesting call there.
Yeah, definitely interesting. May just be trying to like route all these flipper locations in just like one big loop before they make a dive into Swamp Palace, which definitely understandable. Like Swamp Palace is nobody's favorite.
Yeah, it's a very long dungeon to full clear, but on the on the other hand, one of the fastest dungeons to go mode. But considering we're missing every source of fire in the game, and Swamp has 6 chests, I'd play the odds there. I'd go with the item density. Probably a bad move on my part, but sometimes you gotta take that risk.
And I kind of go with that call. Like it's, you know, it's a crystal. You're gonna have to clear it anyway. Or yeah, it is a crystal. You have to clear it anyway. And you know, maybe there's progression on the left side, but you can always just try to skip it, right?
Well, one of the hints you can get is actually for the big chest, and also another hint for the left side of Swamp. So probably is just gonna wait till potentially find that information. And we have yet another blind fight here for Aaron. 3 hearts. Very nicely done. We see Blaine on the pyramid here. It's kind of interesting that we're seeing people avoid the dungeons in this stage. Like, I think we have to start diving dungeons right now. If no other reason than to make progress on the crystals.
And I think that may be what Invictus has planned on the bottom right here. I think they're going to be dropping off the purple chest, getting their tempered sword, and then probably making the trip into Swamp.
And here's a little bit of new information: the catfish at Dark World.
Hey, we can make the game sparkle.
Magical boomerang. Not the greatest find, I'll admit. But at the same time, it has its juices.
Yeah, I will reiterate, the sparkles.
And I think Wayne is the first person to be able to pay for Zora's item, so we'll be getting some new information here as well.
And we're going to get a lot of new information come up here because we got Invictus and Swamp Palace, and PRD Wong probably about to check Hookshot Cave.
That's right. Oh yeah. Well, there's the lamp. There's what our logical access to Death Mountain. And I completely forgot Aaron already did check the sword for fish. Derp. Hookshot Cave so far, not too much value. One last chest. Oh, he had the red mail though.
Yeah, look at PRD Wong hogging all those mail upgrades from everyone else.
One of which is Boots Lock, so I don't blame them if they missed it. And Wong will actually be the first person to check the Ether tablet, because no one ever did that, I don't think.
Yeah, Aaron Dobie has not yet been to the eastern area, though it kind of looks like that's where they're going right now. Maybe after checking Pyramid.
Alright, second item here for Invictus. It is the fourth sword.
That's cool. Not particularly useful, but yeah, it's a gold sword. I mean, you know, as a member of Team Sparkle, I guess I'm obliged to kind of like it more than the other swords.
Golden sword, butter sword, whatever you want to call it. That's gonna make some boss fights trivial, but not necessarily too helpful. The real power sword is the Tempered Sword. Simply because of the Ganon fight, I would say. Because with the Ganon fight, it takes 12 spins per phase for Master, whereas it'll take 12 slashes for Tempered. Saves so much time there on its own merit. And Invictus is checking left side. And we have a Moldorm fight on Wong's end.
Oh, and that's a good point in chat. There's actually a hint in Eastern Palace that Agina had something, so that may have been why Wong just made a beeline for Agina. So, and that is probably also another thing that is keeping the other runners away from Agina, is that they have not been to that area to see that hint.
He just found the Bombos tablet on left side swamp. Or Bombos medallion.
That is amazing. Wow. Okay, Swamp Palace. Okay, Swamp.
He doesn't know how valuable that is, though. That's the thing. So we are just a Cane of Samaria from no mode at this point. We do not have the red cane at our disposal just yet. And that hint right there, requiring a specialist to unlock, that one was the hint to the purple chest, which unfortunately Aaron already has.
It never feels great to get a hint to something you've already checked. Like, yeah, I know, dude.
Well, most hints are in dungeons, so if you're more of a dungeon diver, those hints can help you if they lead you to overworld spots. Cadus tomorrow! In the flooded chests of Swamp! Swamp was the play! Invictus blazing a trail in the seed. And you know what? Considering he has a lamp? I'm almost forgetting, we're missing one last piece of the puzzle. We don't have the flute. We still need the flute. But all of the fire was locked in the water dungeon of all things.
I mean, it makes sense. Water puts out fire. I can see it locking all the fire progression.
I haven't keeping track of the dungeon items here in Swamp, but if the flute happens to be on Vitreous, or not Vitreous, Argus here, then Invictus is just... How do you stop Invictus at this point?
That is a good question, but they would need to navigate carefully, and they would need to be very thorough whenever they got their desert access, whatever that may be.
And it is the big key on Argus, so might as well have been one more item left. And we have had a pedestal check. Pet is dead, so the flute has to be somewhere. It could be Internal Rock. We do have access to that, although only for the first couple of chests. But we have access to Fire Rod. That's beyond the Pyramid Fairy. Which means we needed that Fire Rod to beat Ice Palace, actually. And the lamp also gives you access to defeating Palace of Darkness logically. So, yeah, the seed's telling you, go open that Pyramid Fairy up. Invictus needs to make one quick detour, and that is to go up the mountain. And that's where he'll get the information as well, that the Fire Rod is Pyramid Fairy locked. But Argus is down for Invictus. Oh boy. Wallace, what do you have to say about the seed? This is starting to get interesting here, isn't it?
I have a lot to say about a seed with 3 required items in Swamp House, including 1 on left side, but we'll just ignore that for now, because we got Aaron Dobie attempting this dark room here, using the B. B strats are great.
Yeah.
Taking care of these little dinosaurs.
Yep, the Kadongos.
Kadongos, that's right. I need to brush up on the lore.
Yeah, I've been doing that on my off time too, to be perfectly honest. Someone's asking why T-Rock is so important. T-Rock is currently a pendant that has 5 items in it. However, with the fact that we know where the Fire Rod is, we can theoretically full clear the dungeon and potentially find our last important item that we need to finish the seed, the flute, in there. It looks like we found the blue cane there in Palace of Darkness. Doesn't look like Aaron got much of anything else in there either.
Yeah, blue cane not extremely valuable except for the fact it sparkles, but you're probably just relieved to get out of that dark maze with all the items.
Well, it's also an invincibility item, which puts Laser Bridge truly in logic. And also puts Spike Cape in logic.
Yeah, that is correct. I want to say that Wong checked out Spike Cave, but I can't quite remember if one of the runners actually went up there. But yeah, that...
Well, Blaine just did, and it wasn't anything important. There's 10% there for Wong. And it looks like there's one last item on the boss of Palace of Darkness, the Helmosaur King, given that Terran Dove, he has all of the items. Wayne now making the play into Swamp. And there's Wong with Samaria. Now, here's something to note. Wong did not do left side just yet. But once Wong finds Bombos, it will be flute and go mode for him. He doesn't even need to worry about the medallion requiring for Misery Mire because he'll have all three.
And it's interesting. I know a lot of runners like to make the play into the back of Swamp first because, you know, you're at least going to get a crystal out of it. And if you can find the big key, then you're going to be able to, like, pull the big key on your, like, next trip in as opposed to having to route all the way back through Swamp House to grab that big chest.
And we know the big key is on Argus. And I don't think Invictus ever checked the big key either. So this will be potentially new information if Wong decides to check or if he leaves it behind. One Silvera, though. Down goes Argus. And Wong with the third crystal.
Yeah, so Wong already having Map and Compass will know that there's still 3 items in Swamp, and it's very hard to say no to 3 items.
And could theoretically be... We know one of them is Bombos, but what if the one in the big chest is the flute? That just seals the fate of this seed.
Yeah, that would be horrible news for Invictus in particular.
Well, there is a hint that states what item is in the big chest. Whether or not it's actually in this pool, hint, is yet to be determined, of course. But alas, it is only 20 rupees. Invictus is safe. And that is something interesting to note here. Invictus finding a small key. Now, why is that important? Simply put, if the keys play out just right, you can get all the way to Laser Bridge in Turtle Rock without the Fire Rod. He needs to have a small key here in order to be able to move on. It is not, so the Fire Rod is required to go deeper into Turtle Rock. You cannot get out of the first floor. And Dobe has found the boots and is going through this desert here. And there's Bombos for Wong.
Yeah, so they're just going to take that Bombos and no use dilly-dally, and they're just going to go over to Ice Palace.
Yeah, because logically, right now, the Fat Fairy is completely on the table for him. Might as well go and do it, right?
Yeah, this is actually going to be a really interesting route because they'll be able to just, after clearing out Ice Palace, they'll probably just be able to mirror and then just kind of swim over to the eastern area and access pod that way.
And for all we know, Ice Palace itself could have our missing Fire Rod. Or not our fire rod, our flute. I misspoke there.
Yeah,
My bad.
They both start with F. I feel it. I feel it.
Well, at least the hint there will let Invictus know that he made the right choice.
You will be able to hear Invictus' sigh of relief from just anywhere across the globe.
All right, time for the Pengator room. All right, what is the first item here? It's ice. It is 20 rupees, so nothing too major just yet. Still 2 items left here to collect. And I think Invictus is heading over to ice right now. No, I'm mistaken. And a very textbook double kill of the Stalfos of this room. Gonna get the hint here real quick.
Okay, well, we already kind of figured that out, but thank you, Seed.
And it looks like, yes, we will be seeing the Ice Palace Bomb Jump from Wong here. Now, something to note here, the Bomb Jump isn't necessarily required. Well, I mean, it's not required by logic anyway. But with the Cadence of Oriento, you can get away with not doing the Bomb Jump at all if you want to save your resources. And there's Wombos for Blaine.
I kind of feel that since Ice Palace is a crystal, you kind of want to do the bomb jump anyway, because if you find your 3 items really early, or if you happen to find the flute at any point, you can just say heck and just go to the boss. But yeah, there's a lot of ways that you can opt to route Swamp Palace or Ice Palace.
Don't worry, I make that mistake all the time.
Yeah, they're both flipper lock dungeons. It's easy.
There's the hookshot for Aaron. And we see Blaine and Invictus going to Palace of Darkness, and I just missed the hint that Wong just read. What was that?
It said that Hobo had arrows.
Oh, that one wasn't that helpful. And Aaron is taking that hookshot and making a beeline for Swamp. Second item has been found in ice. It is our 3rd bottle. Free with a free red potion dose inside. So it comes down to where our 3rd item is. Alright, at this point, we have 2 small keys. They're an item on the boss. It cannot be the small key, which means this dungeon was not Samari lot to begin with, but with Samari, you can just skip the whole puzzle anyway. So, yeah.
Yeah, lots of options available if you just want to skip out on checking Ice Palace, which, why wouldn't you? It's a dumb palace.
All right, here we go with the cold stare fight. This one can get pretty out of hand if you don't manage them very well. We'll see how Wong fares. Nice corner trap to start us off. Has to be a little bit careful. Nice double kill to finish it off. Oh, there was a key. I'm a little far away, I can't see. But there we go. I think Wong, though, left the iced tea room alone.
Yeah, I think they did too. I think it did seem like quite a short trip for them between getting the big key and getting to the cold stare.
If that item ends up being the flute, when does Wong go back for it? Well, let's dread on that. Let's hope that he will eventually find the flute, and it's not an ice palace. Wong could also finish off the Armos Knights if there's still an item left in Eastern Palace. If he so chooses. We know Pet is dead, but that doesn't mean that the pendant bosses have an item still. Well, we know. No, actually, yeah, all of the pendant bosses can still have an item on them. Now that I think about it. Oh, that's an interesting item on Helmasaur King.
Yeah, ever so slightly. Mushroom may be useful, may not be useful. We won't know until we flute to 2. Or we have to go to...
Yeah, we have to walk there.
Yeah, that's always unfortunate when you have to find the flute on the mushroom spot because you always just want to flute it in.
Well, it won't be that much of a walk, and realistically, you can do it at the same time on the same walk you do the green pendant check, if that is even in play this scene. So now we have 3 runners in Palace of Darkness. Aaron now collecting the Bombos medallion. And yeah, that is true. There is a Zora portal that leads up to near the witch's place. And actually, in the Dark World, that puts you to the east of the Lake of Ill-Omen, so good way to get over there.
Yeah, I always forget about that portal. That's a very good catch. On real solid hammer jump from Boyne there.
Yeah, that is a very difficult trick. It may not look like it, but it really is. It is a frame perfect placement and a frame perfect positioning after you place the bomb in order to make that bomb jump work.
I think more accurately, it's a pixel perfect setup, but it's still very precise, and yeah.
I misspoke there. Got my turns backwards.
Yeah, something you alluded to earlier. Once these runners clear out Ice Palace, unless the Pyramid Fairy also has the flute in tow, they're kind of going to be stuck having to choose between some pendant dungeons, it kind of feels like.
Pendant dungeons are one-off locations that will eat up a little bit of time. All right, Bulbasaur King and Argus for Aaron as well. The only dungeon we know that the flute can't be in is Desert because we got both items out of there. And Wong knows it because he's the one that got the 2 items out there, having gotten the boots so early. All the Moldorm has on them, or no, Lammolas. I'm getting my bosses mixed up now too. That's the common one that I make a mistake of. Anyway, they only have a dungeon item on the map or compass. I forget which.
And I think Dobby's actually been to Desert as well. Because we can see that they have the speed boots, and they're also, I think they check left side first, so they are going to be losing a little bit of time grabbing this red rupee out of the big chest.
Well, we now know what the mushroom has inside. And Wong is leaving no stone unturned here in Pod, but isn't the items that he has left just the map and the compass? Oh no, he had a heart container still.
Yeah, I think they may have taken that early big key from the first chest, and they may have just been taking that to the front of Pod here, and they may have just gone directly to Helmasaur, because if Helmasaur has a flute, you're in go mode. You can just do all the things, but yeah, now they have to actually search Pod for items.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense actually. I didn't consider that. And this way, Wong can just open the big chest, mirror, and leave. Alright, so there's the blue cane for Wong. Not that it needs it. And Invictus is going to go fight the Armos Knights, it looks like, while he's in the area. Alright, Wong. Moment of truth. We know the fire rod is that Pyramid Fairy, but what is the other item? We're only an hour into the sea. Jeez, it flew by. It's felt like it's been hours here.
Yeah, it definitely does feel like that. We had all the runners just going in wildly diverging paths, but it kind of looks like they may soon be converging a little bit on the same path here, because soon they're probably going to have a lot of areas kind of cleared out, and they're going to have to be forced with a choice here. We have Armos Knights as Invictus is making. It could potentially be Skull Woods or the Green Pendant, or it could be the same thing it always is, Flute on Laser Bridge.
Well, right now, Wong's going to follow the trail of the fire rod, and I think this is the next major gatekeeper of the run. Once we have this, we'll be able to see if our progression lies in Skull Woods, if it lies in Turtle Rock,
but it does not lie in Eastern, as Invictus only pulled 3 bombs from Marmos, it looks like.
There's the fire rod. And the flute! I might have peeked there a little bit, but I'm sorry, but that's go mode!
That's fair. What? Seed? Okay. Spent like 5 minutes wondering, oh, where are these runners gonna go next? No, it's just gonna junk the flute next to the fire rod. Okay, B30. I don't trust you yet. I don't know what you're doing, but I don't trust it.
Oh my goodness.
You okay there, Wolf?
Yeah, just a little bit there. I didn't expect it either. That completely not... Wow. I'm at a loss for words. What a seed! And it all came off that one hint that the fire rod was Fat Fairy locked. Who knew that it was actually had go mode behind it?
Is Wong missing something?
I don't know.
Oh no, did Wong mismark his tracker?
He might have.
Oh no. Oh, this could be bad for Wong if they're gonna pull that green pennant and they're just gonna oh dear.
Well, I think the only thing Wong has mismarked at this point is whether or not Skullwoods is a pendant or crystal. Because he just needs to go to Desert and Mire. And he can hear the pendant music. Heck, we're hearing the pendant music.
Yeah, hopefully they can sense something is off real soon here, because this is already a pretty significant time sink for them.
What do you think he's missing? Does he maybe think this is all dungeons or something?
Man, I hope not, because Wong had played the seed super well to this point. Like, you know, they got that hint out of Eastern Palace early that led to the boots that they've had almost this entire time. Yeah, Wong kind of navigated their way through the seed really well. It's just, man, I'm not sure what's happening.
Oh, there goes the moth. Maybe just killing him on principle. There's our 4th bottle. Or maybe he misread the hint and interpreted the unique item on the old man as Sir Hostrala. I think those were frustration slides. I think he knows that he messed up there. I think he muscle memory that one.
That is another possible explanation, but yeah, luckily, Go Mode Skull Woods is kind of one of the quicker dungeons, but yeah, it's still, you know, 1.5 to 2 minutes, or I wasn't even timing like how long that was for Wong, that he just kind of lost.
Alright, so Wong's in go mode now, and it looks like Blaine's gonna be the second one to follow. Invictus and Dobie are both on their way as well. The last item that Wong missed in Ice was 20 rupees. Oh man, what a seed! And you know what? We know from a hint that the big key in Meyer is fire source lock. So he just needs a small key right now.
Yeah, I think this may also be like another instance of muscle memory, just like going here, just like going to these first two chests, like that's kind of ingrained in like your kind of random place. But yeah, there he goes. Now he's not going to check that other chest.
Seems there was a sound pop or something. I didn't hear anything, did you? Anyway. There's the big key. And that's a good spot for it too, because Juan doesn't have to deal with the cutscene chests. It's gonna go up here, around the corner. I'll have to watch this back then.
Actually, something interesting being brought up in chat. You actually didn't need the fire rod to complete the seed at all. You just needed the Bombos tablet in Ice Palace. You just needed the food from Pyramid Fairy because Skull Woods and Turtle Rock were both pendant dungeons.
Well, that's true. Although Fire Rod does certainly help when it comes to the thing. And oh, hey, we have a little bit of mystery going on here. And Misery Rod, want to explain what's going on?
To the best of my abilities. So, this game was programmed in 1991 by a smaller team working with a smaller system and they were kind of on a time crunch. So there are a lot of weird things that can happen in this game, including spooky action, which it looked like PRD Wong was trying to set up, where weird stuff happens to the game, and it thinks that, like you just saw it right there, where the game kind of thought that the spike or whatever he just hit with the fire rod was a crystal switch that kind of like brought some pegs down. I don't know how to fully explain it, but it's weird and it works.
I want to say it's something that involves manipulating the elevation with the bird, but I don't know much about it either, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm gonna cop to like not being 100% familiar with like the deep tech that goes into spooky action, but it's something that looks cool when it happens. So yeah,
it really does. And a very quick cold start tilde for Invictus. And that is not the final crystal. We still have one more to collect for Wong. That is, of course, the one on the land molas.
Meanwhile, Boyne checking to see if Desert is boots lock, and just so heartbreakingly close to those boots.
So close and yet so far. Oh, and they need the Ether to Medallion 2 from those boots as well.
That's right, so at least they won't get tricked into a Misery Mire full clear, but yeah. Oh, they flew it away from Agina.
There's a lot more places to check. They might be thinking it's in Skull Woods. I don't blame them for this line of play. They're going with the odds. And I don't think Blaine has the hint that the old man has a unique item. Although, once again, he might be interpreting that as Sir Hostrala has something and not Agina. It wasn't too clear which old man it was specifying.
I think there's like a difference in the hint house. I think Sahasrara is a sage and Agina is something else.
That would be the case, yeah. And Wong now has 7 crystals. And, well, we all know what that means. Shall I explain it for us?
Right. Well, we may not be doing the official game because, there are 90 people in this race, and we don't know. We're going to be bringing you the results like as soon as PRD Wong finishes. But yeah, there are 22 chests in Ganon's Tower where the big key can reside. Get a guess 1 through 22 in the chat, and yeah, we'll see if you're right. There may not be a leaderboard spot, but there is pride on the line.
Pride and bragging rights. So, Walsh, what do you think it's going to be for our big key today?
I always like a 19. I kind of like to see Ganon's Tower.
Lately, I've been basing it on what we've seen in the seed. The seed has been kind of average, really. It's been trying to funnel you towards that Pyramid Fairy. So I think it's going to funnel you in one direction. I think it's going to be on Ice Armos. Right at the end.
Okay, so scrolling up to chat, I just saw confirmation that Agina would be the Hermit on a hint tile.
Okay. I haven't done too much of Virgin 30, to be honest. I really should. All right. The barrier goes down for Wong. Small key to start us off. Double small key. Going right. I would do that if that was a double small key. Straw item turn in. Just a heart piece. Invictus has found the boots.
Oh no, Blaine, don't go to the place I think you're going.
I think he is. He's going to Turtle Rock. Mirror Shield found in GT. Right side has nothing. Will Wong continue to Ice Armos? He will not. He was going to go left. Sankard found on Wong's end. Chest number 10. Big key for Wong. Up the tower he goes.
Yeah, so congratulations to everyone who picked 10. You win an MS Paint drawing of the big key or something. Something.
Good one.
Wait, did the Turtle Rock hint tile say a unique item was in Turtle Rock?
Oh no! Is Blaine following that thinking that means the boots are in here? And someone is asking, have there been finishes as far? I don't know, and I'm not going to check right now because these races are actually on a 20-minute delay. So if we looked right now, we'd probably get spoilers, and I'm not gonna spoil myself. I'm gonna wait till we at least see Wong finish.
Yeah, right now the 4 people on screen are the only 4 people in the world to me, but I do acknowledge that there are 90 people in this race, and we may well have seen someone finish. But right now, let's just hear PRD Wong and all the other runners on it. They try their best to complete this seed.
So Wong has only 3 swords. The 4th one was at the purple chest, which he never did. That's kind of interesting there. And we found the net. Only unique item we care about is the red cape, although we haven't seen the blue boomerang yet either. And there's Invictus finding the ether tablet, or ether medallion rather. Ugh. That's his go mode, unless he's not been to ice. Has he been to ice? Or no, he hasn't been to Pyramid Fairy. I can't tell. No, he's doing the Super Realm now. Alright, last 4 for Wong before... Oh no, he's out of magic. There he goes, got some. And Moldarm 2 goes down. We're gonna see what's inside the chest? No, we are not. Not today. Or at least not right now. And only a single thus far on the genealogy fight, that is Aghanim 2. Second wave. Nice really good pat formation there. Only gets 1 shot. Nice double. This looks good. Oh, those 2 shots hit too close to each other. That's only a single. And down goes Aga 2 as Aaron Dobie is entering Ganon's tower. Wong is leaving to fight the pig. Tempered sword and silvers in hand. 12 slashes for the first 2 phases. And then we move on to phase 3 in which he destroys the floor. And then the darkness technique. Keep the lights on. 1 slash to stun. 4 silver arrows. And it's GG.
Meanwhile,
Although-
Wong... Oh, go ahead.
I can't read how many arrows Wong has. It looks like 1 to me, but it's probably like 7.
He has 2 arrows right now, so this is going to be a combo fight, I guess?
Yeah, he's gonna have to do some silverless hits, which in which case would be 3 spin attacks per missed arrow as Ganon begins to teleport. It is possible to slash Ganon, but it's just so much easier to do spins. And Blaine is finished checking Laser Bridge. Is about to go fight Trinex.
It looks like we got confirmation that the cape was the unique item in Turtle Rock, because that does appear on Wayne's menu.
Yep, there it is. Setting up what we know is the torch glitch there. Simply put, light the left torch faster than the right torch can go out, and the right torch will never go out. Saves you a lot of time in this fight. So here goes Silver the Strats coming in. Four hits. And Wong making it look easy when it's actually not. That is actually very tricky positioning, but GG's to Wong! He will be the first of the featured four to finish the race. And let me go ahead and get you that time. I'm gonna have to be a little bit. Wong is actually our first place finisher! He won the race!
Yo, that is amazing. Yeah, GG to PRD Wong. That's definitely how you want to kick off your tournament, assuming this is their first race. So yeah, really great effort.
We're gonna get him in here for an interview. But holy, that was insane!
Yeah, this was a seed that gave you a lot of twists and turns as Wayne is about to find out getting these boots from Agina's cave. But yeah, Wong just navigated that beautifully. Like, really well done to them. And Wong even finished first with a bonus dungeon. That's even more incredible.
Yeah, he took care of Swamp, or Skull Woods rather, without needing to. And Wayne has finally found his boots. And we are being told by Wong, who is waiting for us, that he wants to wait until his restream is done before coming in for an interview. Which is fair. So in the meantime, we'll just talk about the seed a little bit. This seed was fairly nice, actually. What do you say, Waltz?
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. Yeah, the seed gave you a lot of options early, you know, and obviously the hook-shotting Graveyard Ledge, that was something that could have thrown a lot of runners off, but yeah, overall, in the end, like, any seed that can result in anyone getting a sub 90 is pretty solid.
Yeah. I think the one thing that threw off, well, at least Wayne, was the boots. The boots were in what is technically a Sphere 1 location, a location you can check regardless of your progress.
Yeah, definitely. That may have been a little bit of, like, maybe metagaming from Wayne, like them maybe saying that, okay, if boots are here, okay, if boots are somewhere, like, you know, relatively easy to access, like Agina, I may have lost this race, so I'm just going to have to make the call into Turtle Rock, and that obviously didn't pan out for them this seed, but, you know, still, Wayne's a really good runner, really solid. Like, I think they have an NMG time of 126, which is just, like, amazing. And also, Aaron, stop spamming sword. Dude.
And also of note, Wayne was the only one who actually went into Escape, which had nothing except for half magic.
Yeah, I think Invictus actually made a play into front half of Escape 2, kind of like in that early going where there are a ton of options, but yeah, they're on their way to Ganon's Tower now, it looks like.
Yep, and Wayne is just now getting the crystal at a desert.
Yeah, so Wayne should probably be getting Ether Medallion in the next little bit here as Aaron Doby fighting Ganon. I think they have enough arrows. That could either be a 9 or a 3 on my end.
And here we go with Aaron. Aaron blazing through the first 2 phases of Ganon with the Sputter Sword that only takes 6 slashes. And no, Invictus is going to Ganon's tower, folks, so he just defeated Invictus. Our tracker did not mark that yet. And there's Aaron Toby, who finished... I gotta look for this now. There's a lot of names here.
Yeah, it looks like they finished in 8th place. So do you want me to go through the list of finishers between Wong and Doby?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so 2nd place was Kyong92 with a 126.52. 3rd place was Bonta, 127.42. 4th place, Salty Fry, 128.15. 5th place, Korek, 129.11. 6th place, Zero Rush, 130.04. 7th place, T-Stew, 130.24. And, of course, our restream runner, Aaron Doby, 8th place with an SRL time of 131.11.
Yes, and it looks like Wong's restream is finished, so whenever he's ready to come in, he can come in. And there is Purity Wong, GG to you, sir, winning this race, even after finishing Skullwoods when you didn't need to. That is amazing time.
Yeah. I don't know how to feel about that. I feel good and bad at the same time.
So, I'm going to ask you about that Skullwoods play. What was going through your mind there? Why did you do it?
So about halfway through the seed, I got into my head that I needed the fire rod for like Ice Palace or something. And so I kept following that path, and since I knew it was at the ferry, and so that's why I did Ice Palace followed by Pod. And so I guess it's good in a sense that it got me the flute. But as soon as I got the flute, I was like, okay, I'm in go mode. I need to do Skullwoods and Mire. And then I went to Skullwoods, and the pendant dropped down, and I was like, oh man.
Well, we are also joined by Aaron Doby, or Aaron Dobb. I always mispronounce that name.
It's Adobe. You're right the first time.
All right, but you finished in 8th place in our race. GG's you as well.
Hey, thank you.
So, yeah, this team was fairly kind. The main thing, though, that gave you, Wong, the advantage was finding those boots as early as you did.
Yeah, I mean, I went to Eastern Palace, and I just wanted to follow up on that hint as quickly as I could. And when I found the boots, first when I found the boots, I was happy, and then second all, I found that you could get to Dark World access without ever going to Eastern. So I figured that would trip a lot of people up. So I figured I was pretty ahead at that point, and I just wanted to make sure I cleared the entire world and not skip anything.
Well, it paid out in your favor. Although, if you do watch this restream back, I'm going to just give you a heads up that I might have had a voice spike there when we discovered that flute, because it completely caught me off guard. I was not expecting it at that point.
Yeah, obviously we were all expecting the Fire Rod and Pyramid Fairy, and like we were all like, oh, the Fire Rod, that's going to be the fulcrum of the sea, but then this flute right there just jumped in with it.
Yeah, my next play would have been to search Skullwoods for the flute. So that's what I was expecting to happen.
And, Wong, you actually took a little bit of a risk there, right? You missed an item in ice. The ice tea room having that third item, thankfully, it was just 20 rupees, so it didn't hurt you too much.
Yeah, I figured I'd cleared almost everything so far. I could take one little risk. It was fine, right?
Yeah. And I noticed you also didn't do purple chest, and that would have given you the gold sword.
Yeah, I got the hint that there was something sharp in there, and I already had tempered at that time, so I was like, okay, I'm not going back for that.
Yeah, other than that, we found everything. Even the cape, which unfortunately was in Turtle Rock. Playing Flash Jack Dagina.
I mean, it's kind of bad that I wasted that extra time on Skullwoods and then not picking up the arrows at the end. But since I'm pretty sure this score of mine is going to get thrown out anyways, it didn't hurt me too much. But I gotta pay more attention in my next qualifiers.
I mean, 138, 8 item collection, 125 time in game. Can't be mad about it. This was a really great run for you. And Dopey, you did a really good run too.
Yeah, I am super happy with this. I think it's a good way to start off the qualifier round.
Yeah, this is only the second one too, and there's what, another 13 to go?
Yep, this was my first race. So
Good strong position considering our field is 90 plus strong.
yeah, I know.
So I want to get you guys' thoughts on how big this crowd is. Did you guys have any nerves at the start of this race because of how many people you potentially had to beat?
I mean, personally, not so much, just because I feel like if a large group of people is going to be a more consistent spread of time, so I'm like less likely to get just really ruined by luck. But there were certainly a lot of names in this race that I was scared of, so I'm very happy to have placed as high as I did.
Yeah, definitely really solid finish. So obviously this was a seed that just gave you a ton of options in the early game. I did notice that like you had Dark World access in Kakariko and you just kind of opted to skip out of Thieves Town in your first go around. Was it just kind of you just didn't want to deal with all the herdy enemies in Thieves Town at that point?
It's not Thieves Town that's so much trouble. It's blind.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, I will agree to that.
I mean, I'm like confident that I could have done it, but it was definitely not 100% on the first try. So I decided that I would just leave it, come back later. I had so much else to do at that point.
But yeah, GG's to you both. Like I said, we found everything in the seed. Nothing really was too bad about it either, except maybe the hookshot and the boots.
Yeah, the hookshot was kind of bad. Yeah, that I was.
Actually,
I was
let's
a little
rewind.
bit upset when I found the hookshot.
Actually, let's rewind a bit here. The Swamp Palace. That Swamp Palace was amazing.
Everything was there.
You had your tempered sword, so you can easily take care of, or gold swords, depending on your order, to take care of Argus. You had your lamp right at the first chest. You had Bombos there, which unlocked ice. And the lamp
at that point it was necessary.
And the lamp in turn, by logic, unlocked the old man on the mountain, so you got your bow, so you could do Dark Palace, the other 5-6. And then it also came to Samaria on top of all that.
It's almost like the dungeon with 6 items in it finally pulled its weight for once.
Yeah, definitely one of the more loaded swamps I've seen in recent history.
For sure.
Yeah, swamps. You do avoid swamp sometimes because you want to go to them on the dungeon. This time, swamp wanted you to full clear it. There was no avoiding any of those items.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was so much in it that you weren't going to avoid it for too long.
And Invictus has now defeated Ganon. Or, not defeated Ganon, defeated Ganon, and is now about to go fight Ganon. Meanwhile, Blaine is on Lambolas 2. So yeah, anything that's gonna throw you off, that threw you off in this seed, other than, well, in your case, the Swamp out, or the Skullwoods play?
No, I mean, I think it was pretty obvious that was the one.
Yeah, I really have to kick the habit of attempting the turtle room lampless with no fire rod and no mail upgrade. I do that
Yeah.
so many times and it almost never works. So I feel like, no, this is the time that I'm going to do it. And I say that having not practiced it at all or anything responsible like that. No, it's going to be fine this time, but it never is.
So you probably are wondering where the half magic was, because I did mention we did find everything, including that. That was actually in the second checkpoint of escape, where the
Nice.
where the blue boomerang normally is. And actually, I stand corrected. We never found the blue boomerang.
Huh.
I feel like I saw it somewhere.
I think that was in
Yeah.
library. That was in library.
Yes.
Yeah. I missed that check. So yeah, there it is. We didn't have it tracked as a thing.
Actually, I did have a panic moment right when that green pendant dropped. I was like, wait, could I have just go moded Ice Palace and Pod and just gone straight to Pyramid Fairy? But then I realized that no, it was the flute I needed, not the fire rod. So there was about like 5 minutes where I was sure that like everybody had just passed me and all the finishers were gonna come in while I was doing Mire.
Yeah, weirdly enough, the fire rod was not required at all for anything in the seed, which Invictus 2011 just completed.
Yes, and we're gonna... I have to look for that time now. Where's all the finishers?
There weren't that many people in this race, were there?
No, there totally wasn't.
Yeah, only 90. I mean, compared to the entire population of the Earth, what's that?
Yeah, nobody was playing this race if you think about it.
And his position and time was 47th place with a time of 1:42:05. Oof.
Yeah, so GG to Invictus. That was a really solid effort. Seed just may not have gone exactly the way that they hoped. Like, again, finding those boots was kind of like the crux for a lot of these high finishes, and yeah, not getting them until like you're in desert at like when they were there. That's yeah. And meanwhile, Blaine also finishing this out, and this is just a testament to like how solid their execution is. That maybe this race didn't go as they planned, but this is going to be like around a 145 for what's essentially a full clear. So really well done to them.
Yeah, so we'll pull them in at the same time here. Here, considering that Wayne is so close.
I'm gonna need to drop off, but thanks guys for doing the commentary and the trackers and everyone for setting this up.
Yeah, absolutely. GG's you and to you. I believe that was Juan, because I wasn't looking actually at Discord at the time. And also GG's you, Aaron Dovey.
Hey, thank you.
And of course, get your GG's in chat for Blaine, who is now defeated again, the last of our featured four. And I actually looked up the time in advance this time. And he came in 49th, actually, with the time. I just had it here. Of 1:44:04. GG's. Let's see if we can get Invictus in here. Here now. And then Wayne later when he enters the Discord. Overall, a great seed. Really.
Yeah, indeed, a lot of fun stuff, a lot of like weird items that allowed you to do just so many things. Yeah, really fun to kind of watch and commentate here.
So let's go ahead and pull Invictus in here and talk to him for a little bit. GG's and congratulations on finishing this race, Invictus. 47th place. Not the best, I'll admit, but at the same time, you were up against a field of 90, so right in the middle of the pack. You can't feel bad about that one.
I am totally okay with that middle finish. That was kind of a weird seed, I felt like. I definitely made some mistakes there, but...
Yeah, the real thing was finding the boots early. That's what gave Wong such a huge lead.
I mean, to be honest, though, the entire race, I never really felt like I was too far behind. I mean, 15 minutes behind first place finishers, obviously quite a bit of a gap, but there was never a feeling like I was doing anything wrong. I think maybe just finishing off Eastern, probably when I didn't to, and a few other, just routing mistakes here and there, but nothing too like egregious that I felt like I was, beating myself up over.
And yeah, it really came down to you having to figure out where those boots were at the end.
Yeah, and like I think I was saying earlier, it's just some of the routing decisions kind of led me to finding the boots kind of late. I've been kind of watching what Wayne did as well here as I think people finish up, but yeah, the boots were just kind of in a weird location. It's that cave. There's the group of people who always check it, and then there's the group of people who never check it. I'm in the group that never checks it, really.
If you had gone to Eastern like Wong did and checked the tablet, it would have actually said a unique items on the Hermit, and Wong checked it, and it turned out to be the boots. So.
Oh no! Oh, I wish I'd known.
Yeah, so that one tablet right there between the I think it was the map of the compass chest and the big chest.
That would have helped a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, finding that in your position would have been like a little bit weird though, because then you'd be thinking, okay, well, do I still kill Armos Knights because I still need Ether? Yeah, that's always like a. But yeah, I kind of feel like Agina being kind of that troll just because like it's so far out of the way, and like if you don't have a reason to go there, you're never going to go there.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of why I try to avoid it usually in early routing. Unless there's just nothing in the zero circle, then I really just try to avoid that side of the map. Unless I absolutely have to go to desert, which obviously then it's on the way.
And yeah, that desert being boots lock did trip you up a little bit. I think you were able to recover pretty well. And
yeah, I didn't actually end up going into desert until I had the boots, which was pretty lucky. It was kind of a weird situation. Like I think I routed it intentionally that way. I think early when I jumped into Thieves there, it was almost like a desperation play. I'm thinking, well, they've handed me everything I need. I got 5 hearts. How confident am I?
Yeah, and actually, Invictus, I want to let you know something here. You were actually the first person into Swamp Palace. You found the lamp, the Force Sword, the Canis Maria, and the Bombos Medallion. And at that time, we knew because of another hint that Wong checked that the Bombos Medallion was required because of the fire rod being in the Pyramid Ferry.
Oh, jeez. I feel a little bit bad that I wasn't checking hints and just sort of playing the seed as a seed. I feel like if I had checked some of those things, I probably would have gotten myself a little bit more anxious, uptight, giving you guys a show.
Yeah, and actually, if you had, and given the fact that also the lamp was in Swamp Palace, which gave you access to Death Mountain, which had your bow, you realistically could have gone there, got out the bow, defeated Pod and Ice, got the fire rod and the flute, and would have possibly came in first even, if everything played that way.
Yeah, that's why I said, like, I never at one point felt like I was too far behind. I think it was just a few silly routing mistakes, and like you guys are saying, those hints, I'm going to take a little bit more heed of those, I think.
Oh, there's actually an entertaining moment. There's actually a hint in Ice Palace that said what the item in the Swamp Palace Big Chest was, so we were kind of thinking, oh yeah, Invictus, if they ever read that hint, they're going to be pretty pleased with that.
Yeah, it was a calculated gamble. I figured, you know what, I've got a decent chunk of the items already. I'm not terribly worried. Swamp paid out big. The chances of something else being in there, boy, I don't know.
And you want to know what was in that chest?
Sure, go ahead.
Some cash. Just a big 20.
It's not like we didn't have enough of that through the entire seed, right?
Yeah.
I don't even remember. What was my ending rupee count? I think it was like 1,500. Not even the big fish can help there, man.
And it looks like we will actually not be hearing from Dwayne. I can't even ask him in IRC because he is gone. So it looks like we're not going to be able to interview him, which is unfortunate. But you and Dwayne were actually sort of neck and neck going forward. Dwayne obviously finishing a little bit later, but the thing is, he thought the fire rod locked the boots.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad play on his part. I kind of see where his logic was, especially if he needed the fire rod or he hadn't found a few other items yet. Then it makes perfect sense the way he was playing it. And the dive into TR made perfect sense too, just out of like metagame.
Yeah. He dove TR. He found the cape at least. He also found the half magic, which was actually in the blue boomerang chest in the escape. And Long actually found all the shields as well. The last one being on right side GT.
Yeah, that riot shield, man. It feels bad sometimes. You're like, wait a minute, how do I have this much shielded? It's not good. I've opened too many chests.
Yeah, luckily with the tournament format for Dwayne, worst result gets thrown out. So, hopefully they can kind of bounce back and have a better performance. But, GG to you for your performance. That was really solid stuff. A really good finish. So, yeah, congrats.
Thank you very much for the first seed I've played in about 3 or 4 months. That felt pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, nice, yeah.
GG to you, Jared. GG to Aaron, who has been silently listening this whole time. And GG to Long and Wayne, all of our featured runners. And, of course, all of the runners who have finished or are still currently finishing at this time for this race. Make sure to give at least our featured 4 here a follow here on Twitch. They put on extra race for us. And we, of course, are on Speed Gaming. Make sure to get Speed Gaming and Speed Gaming's 2 through 6 a follow to make sure you don't miss any racing action at all, not just Link to the Past. And also make sure to give a follow to my co-commentator, Walsh, on our 2 trackers tonight, Quero and Link40. And don't forget, if you are more comfortable listening to French, Spanish, or German languages, we actually have restream languages for you in those languages here on Speed Gaming as well.
Yeah, let me just reiterate to everybody still watching here, definitely give all these guys a follow. Not just the runners, please. Like the guys who put this stuff on and the announcers, they put in a lot of work, the trackers as well, and even the foreign language restreamers and recommentators. They're excellent people, all tremendous individuals, putting in a lot of time on a volunteer basis, so definitely give those guys a follow.
Yes, but for us here at this point in time, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up. So for all of us here at A Link to the Past Randomizer, I have been Wolflink0370. We shall see you all... Actually, I need to pull up the schedule real quick, because I almost forgot to check that. We shall see you all tomorrow for the 3rd qualifier. We do not currently have a restream set for that just yet. Oh, no, never mind. It will be on A Link to the Past Randomizer. And actually, we'll have another channel available as well. We're going to have 2 restreams available for that, so we're going to cover 8 runners. So, pick your favorite and tune in.
Yeah, one of them should be on the Speed Gaming channel to be determined within a little bit here.
Yes. But for that, we'll see you all next time, and thanks for watching. Have a good night, everyone.
Yep, have good nights.